premium account, Twitter, go up. All right, it's fine, whatever. I think the Twitter thing is not working right now. I don't know why. Save changes. All right. Are we on? 20 seconds we've been on. All right. It is May 8th, the year of our Lord 2026. It's a shout out to Steve Bannon. That's what we do. So he says it that way. So that's why we like to say it that way. So it has been a busy week. We had Nancy Mace up here on Monday, and Wednesday we went to a League of Women Voters event. And somebody called us out saying, why are you supporting or taking orders from the George Soros League of Women Voters? And I'm like, we go there so we can learn what they're doing and understand, because what we're doing is preparing to fight the penny tax, which apparently is coming. And it's that's a whole nother story. We can talk about that. And then at 11:30, we have Rom Reddy coming on for about 30 minutes or so. And then at 12:30, and he's coming on remote. So he's Charleston. Hopefully we can get that all to work. And then after that, we're at 12:30, we're going to have Congressman Timmons who's going to stop in person and be here for the last 30 minutes or so. So that's where we are. One thing we do like to do is introduce, I didn't say this before we went on, but our new guest, if you would like to introduce yourself, since it's the first time, give us your name, precinct if you remember it, and then just what's your cause and why you're here. So you might have some good things to say. But welcome.
Thank you.
Maybe stand up. Sorry.
It's on? Yeah. Hi, everybody.
All right, this works. Fantastic.
My name is Brenda Washington, and Steve invited me here, Steve Rutherford, and I'm just excited to be here. I live in Greer. We're neighbors, so I live in Greer. So I'm not sure the precinct.
Okay.
And so can I tell about May 17th? On May 17th, which is next Sunday, in agreement with what President Trump is doing, dedicating the nation as one nation under God. So we felt the Lord put in our heart to rededicate South Carolina and North Carolina as one nation under God at the Capitol. So we have we have the State House reserved at the East Gardens, because on Sundays it's closed. And if anyone would like to attend, it's going to be from 12 until about 3. And it's a pleasure meeting you all.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Rutherford. I'm scared. I'll tell you all, I'm scared.
Good point.
I'm with Brenda as far as we want to bring more people to Jesus, but the political climate right now is a very scary thing with what the Democrats are trying to. It's treasonous. We all know that down in our hearts, but I feel as though I need to impact the community more in the way of getting Republicans to vote. We cannot slide on this. They will destroy 2 years of fabulous work. And if I can join you, please talk to me. I don't know exactly my place in this, but I want to take it and I want to serve our people.
Thank you for that. Thank you for standing up. That's great. Let me assure you, you're not alone. That's why we're here. A lot of us got involved after the 2020 election. Some of us, the sole election of 2020, some of us got involved because of, in our case, with Olga and I, our case was school choice, and watching what legislators or elected officials are willing to do to K through 12 children with special needs, and taxpayers, because it saves taxpayer dollars too. If they're willing to do it to that constituency of kids, they're willing to do it to any of us. And we did. Frank got there. We had his legislative. We do once a month. They do their legislative meeting. Frank's the chair of our legislative committee. and we had some people in from Moms from Liberty, and they're trying to do a parental rights bill that they've literally filed 6 years in a row. And it passed the House this year. I think it was like 116 to 1. It was whatever, there's 124 House reps. It was 100 something odd to 1. Got to the Senate in February, and it sat there and gone nowhere. So that's the type of games and frustrations people have. Now, I don't know. It sounds like a bill we would support. We said we would help them in spreading the word as they kind of build up what they're trying to do for next year. The next legislative session, because this one is essentially over on Thursday of next week. So we got 3 more legislative days. But they're essentially, they've been fighting for parental rights, assuming the bill itself is good. And we'll get to check with some of our other friends, but they can get it through. I mean, think about something you got through the House at 116 to 1, and the Senate just sits up there and doesn't do anything. What have they been busy doing, right? So that's one, part of the problems that's why people get more involved, and we need to get more people involved and the such. And one of the ways of getting people involved.
Thank you.
Ron, grab the mic.
We got it on posters now. Good place to start as new people. Start with the Constitution.
It's a great program. We've taken it a couple times, but it's a six-week class, and Ron's got it going. Tell us about it.
Well, we got a sign-up sheet for anybody who wants to sign up today. If you want to sign up for the Constitution class, it will be at the Elks Lodge. And I don't want to steal any thunder from our coach here, but you can stand up and let them know who you are and tell us a little bit about the class.
My name is Bob here. We're going to coach do the constitutional class. It's Dave Barton and Rick Green's constitutional live course. 6 weeks. We're going to do it sure on Thursday, May the 21st, at 11 o'clock at 1:30, 1 o'clock. And so we're going to do it during lunch. We're going to, Rick Green and those guys, they do a great job of explaining, just think about when we were kids and all our whole lives, why does everyone come to America? Well, it's because the Constitution gives us freedoms and liberties. Okay, and so it's all about knowing your rights and understanding the liberties and what the Constitution delivers for us and give the freedoms that it gives us, and and God-given rights. And it's all written in the Constitution. The Constitution, the most referred to source is the Bible, 39 times. So it's important to understand the Constitution and know what freedom and liberty means and what our responsibilities are, not just to be a freeloader. So I invite you guys to come to the class. It's 6 weeks. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll talk.
Did you say a freedom freeloader? It's actually clever, but it's accurate. So a lot of people that are not participating, number one, it's because we don't teach civics in school anymore to tell people. The party has not been open and welcoming to people. We want more numbers. What the party has done in the past, even politics, they don't like 15. They like the political class likes 15% turnout because they can keep it small to control it all. If we had 50, 70, 80%, 90, 100% turnout, then it would be harder to control from the political class with the money and all that kind of stuff. So freedom freeloaders, I like that. Don't be a freedom freeloader.
We have to know.
Grab the mic if you're going to talk.
No,
grab the mic, please. It doesn't matter.
I hate to be provocative, but is the war that we're involved in right now, is it constitutional? Do we have an answer for that?
This isn't part of the class. Okay, that's a different discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have to be a neutral party here because one of the reasons we can put it on with veterans is non-political. This is not going to be a political discussion to bring up Republicans and Democrats. I'd like to see a lot of Democrats come and get this information. I think they're ignorant to a lot of things, but we're not going to be political in it. It's going to be a nonpartisan civics lesson. And that's the main emphasis.
The Constitution isn't party. I mean, it is non.
Yeah, but we're not going to have a class there to have debates on that.
Portions of the Constitution.
I'm sorry.
We'll watch portions of the Constitution and we'll have an open discussion following each presentation. So there will be room for discussion and so forth.
Okay.
But the goal is to hash out and solve world problems on those Thursdays. Okay, it's about the Constitution and the original intent of the Constitution. Okay, and how it's been changed over the years. That's what that's the focus of it. It's how the Constitution has been changed and how we let it by being free freeloaders, sitting back and not doing anything, not doing our civic duty. That's how come we're in the mess we're in. Okay, and you guys put over the Elks Club. That's how we best. These men and women, they're the greatest patriots. They're the ones they've been vetted to be patriots. They've already sacrificed so much to our country. So it's going to be an honor to be there, to be with those men and women. And I'm just a best support. I didn't serve, so I get chills right now thinking about it. So, anyways, that's the focus is the understand the Constitution. Like I said, they don't teach civics anymore. And if we so it's important. You both of them know, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. But I like it. Where's the handout? Where's the handout? Oh, sorry. But it's a 6-week class. I like how they're doing this. We've done them in the evenings. We've done them on Saturdays, that type of stuff. But these guys are doing it at the Elks Lodge at 7700 Pelham Road. They're doing it from 11:30 to 1. Starts on Thursday, May 21st, 6 weeks in a row. And then, but the Vets Helping Vets, Greenville, they actually meet, I guess, from 10 to 11. So then they'll rejigger the room or whatnot. And then hopefully a lot of those guys and ladies will stay. Yeah. I couldn't hear you. You weren't talking in the mic. I'm kidding. That's enough. I'll repeat what you're saying. But what Ron's talking about, and we talked about maybe find some people to sponsor a lunch and bring in some food and some stuff like that for the vets. So it's great. So it's fantastic. It's a way to learn. I know your question about is it constitutional what we're doing, the military action or intervention or whatever you want to war, whatever you want to call it in Iran. It's one piece of the Constitution. It's one piece of the Constitution, but this is a class about the whole thing. And then the other thing that Bob and Ron are talking about, Bob especially, is we may do a 2-part class, which is about 2 hours each, but it's about implementation, how we can get people involved. We're not probably going to live stream that one. We're going to have a small group for the first time we roll that out, but about how to actually it's a 12-step program, which sounds interesting. Yeah, we're going to do a 12-step program about how to save America and actually implement and do some things. So if we can get it in before the primaries, we'll try to do that. But we're just, it's a packed time right now. So, but that's kind of the next step. You want to learn and have the basics, and then you want to get to the next step of how to implement. So that's what we're about. We're all about what does Steve Stern say? Action, action, action. So we're all about action. That's exactly what it is. And Tony Castle is saying, knock those doors and make it too big to rig. And that's really what I think. Trump's election. In the 2020 election, people were shocked by what happened, and we've seen it in some other places. And I guess they made it too big to rig in Indiana earlier this week too. So that's rather exciting stuff. I think we have Mr. Reddy here, so let's see if we can get him added on here.
Just let Ron hold it the entire time.
I'll let me fill in for a
Just making another announcement. My church is putting on a patriotic military honor program coming up June the 5th. It'll be at Greer City Park downtown. They'll have orchestra, full choir,
Okay.
and they're going to be singing all the anthems for the Army, Navy, Air Force. They'll be singing all those.
Jeff, I cannot hear you.
And you're all invited to come downtown Greer. And that's at 7 o'clock,
She got his voice.
7:30 at night to 9 o'clock.
What church is that?
Okay.
Taylor's First Baptist,
All right. Do I need to turn this
You're
on?
hosting the Greer City Park.
Greer City Park.
Okay.
7:30 in the morning.
Y'all got that? I'll find out about that next. We have Mr. Reddy on. We're going to try to get the voice to work, his voice, because we have to rejigger stuff. We do this. You can. All right. Can you hear us, Rom?
I can't hear you.
He can't hear us. All right. Can you hear us? You may turn this off, or
He can't hear us.
that's like 5 minutes delayed. Can we? I don't know. Here we go.
Try to turn off.
Turn this off. All right. Can you hear us now?
No.
No. This is not going to be fun. All right. Can you hear us now? He can't hear. No. On that screen.
Maybe it's on his end.
It may be something on your
Make
end.
sure your volume is on.
Is your volume on? Up? He's trying to text. I got this turned off.
Well, we can hear everything online, so I don't know why he couldn't. He has to raise his volume.
Okay. Check your volume, Ron. Maybe that's it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have Dylan? Is Dylan there with you? Probably not. Are you getting a text? All right. Well, he can't hear us. We can't hear him.
You're coming through in the office.
Right. We are, but he's not. Right. Okay.
Dylan must be watching. He texted to check his volume.
Okay. Dylan Nolan, who worked with Fitz News, is now the communications guy for Rom's campaign.
Wonderful technology. We can't do nothing over it.
Is he going to be in Fountain Inn tomorrow?
Checking.
Yes.
This man's going to be in Fountain Inn tomorrow.
Yes, yes,
Is he? Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, Mr. Reddy is going to be in Fountain Inn tomorrow at 3:00, and it's at the mill. I guess y'all have that. But if you go to his campaign page and go to events, and then it'll have a list there, and you can RSVP there.
Hear him. Do you know what's going on? It's on the show, but I cannot hear him.
He's getting someone else,
I think that's his wife.
his wife.
He's probably an electronics person.
I hope it's not on our end. I don't think it is.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear ourselves.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's on his end.
All right, they're probably rebooting. I have to sometimes reboot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the power of technology. Okay, who got the hit piece on David Pascoe and me? I did not get it. Y'all didn't get it? I've got it. When we get done with Rom, I'll actually play it and we can watch it. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Mr. Reddy, how are you there now? Can you hear us? I don't think he can still hear us.
I'm good. I can hear you now.
He's not hearing us.
I can hear you.
Can you call him on the phone? Try to help that way.
Jeff,
Jeff, you're hearing us.
Jeff, can you hear?
Oh, all right. Woo! Okay. All right. We have to stop. We can't do the delay. We have you, but you're on a substantial delay. So I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to put the volume. You're on a substantial delay. Okay.
So are you.
All right. So is that turned off? Okay. How about that? Can you hear us now?
I can hear you perfect.
Perfect.
Like this. Okay.
All right. We're going to try one last thing. We're going to plug this in. And how's that go? And I'm going to. Can you hear us? Can you hear?
Perfect.
Is that working?
Yes.
Yep.
You can hear us. And you say something. Can you?
We can't hear him again.
He's not.
All right. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Absolutely.
All right. Fantastic.
We're on his
Let's
way.
go.
All right, let's go. Thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but if you can figure out this, then you can save South Carolina and cure all the other ills and problems we have, right?
Absolutely. We got it covered.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us again. Maybe I'll just let you open up, tell us a little bit about yourself and your campaign, what you're doing, kind of your experience of this. I always like hearing what new candidates or new people involved in kind of the political arm of things. But I will tell you, I really admire and I like your comments about there's two lanes. There's their lane, the politicians, and your lane. So go ahead. I'll hand it over to you. Let us know.
Yeah, Jeff, I've never wanted to run for office. It's never been on my bucket list. But it really developed into two lanes. I told Renee, I have a 15-year-old in high school. So I told Renee, listen, we don't want to do this. We need to back someone who, in fact, can fix the state. And I'll tell you what that means in a second. So, but then we got up to close to election day and we got 5 people, 53 years in office, right? They've created the system they've given us, Jeff. And, I remembered what Senator Kennedy said. He said, keep doing what you've always done and you'll keep getting what you always got. And that's what's going on. We keep, for those of you on the call who've run businesses, when I ran a business, I bought a business, we always had 3 paths. We had the staff people, the management people, and the leaders. And the leaders were focused on getting results, getting things done, so on and so forth. What we're doing in government is we're taking these staff people, they're used to filing bills and writing bills and narratives. And we're saying, now go and govern. And they don't know how to govern. It's not that they don't believe the things they're telling you. They just don't know how to do it. So you look at what's going on here with, take education, for example. The National Assessment of Education Progress said for 20 years, nothing has changed across all grade levels in math and English, right? Roads, bottom 5, violent crime, top 10, median family income, bottom 8. And all of these have been exactly that way 10, 15 years ago. So my question is, what are we doing? Like, why are we spending all this money? There's one thing that's consistent. Our spending has gone up. It's doubled in the last 10 years, as many of you know. The taxes, we're the highest tax rate state in the nation. Property taxes are like a life sentence. And so I said, you know what? Our founders said something profound, Jeff. And they said, if you look at the last line of the Declaration, it said, for the support of this declaration, with the firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And they were prepared to die for this dream. And the question is, what is that dream? The dream is our rights come from God, not from government. Government's job is to protect those rights. Instead, we've taken that power and we've weaponized it against the citizen, against, using 101 agencies, a vast judiciary. We've literally weaponized it. And so I told Renee, we got to do it. So very briefly, my background, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, with my wife, Renee, and my 15-year-old. We attend the First Baptist Church in downtown Charleston. I have 2 older kids. I have 3 grandkids. Like the president and Elon Musk, I attended the Wharton Business School. I graduated from the Wharton Business School and then worked for Exxon Chemical for a few years. I went off on my own. I bought a division of Exxon in Somerville, South Carolina, actually in 1990. That was my first venture into South Carolina. I've done businesses all over the nation, but my second business in South Carolina was 2008, pet food packaging, a manufacturing entity. And my third one in South Carolina, I moved the headquarters from Georgia to South Carolina of my company in 2014. And we built it into the 3rd largest artificial turf manufacturer in the United States. When I sold it in 2023, we were doing business in all 50 states. doing 270 stadiums a year. So I'm used to governing. I'm used to getting results. That's my DNA. The second and last thing I'll tell you is I'm doing something historic in the state. I do not take money. I do not take money from anyone. No PACs, no donations, nothing. Why? You say why? Even my advisor said you should take some money from individuals, even if you don't take PACs. I said I cannot fix the system if I'm part of the system. You know, we're 40 out of 50. We're 40 out of 50 in donor transparency, which means that we as citizens, we go vote for someone in June or November, and we have no idea who bought and paid for them. South Carolina does not require disclosure of the source donors. So you got a PAC that said, I don't know, Patriots for South Carolina, and they put a bunch of money into these elections, and you have no idea who is funding that PAC. That's how we have corrupted the legislature. 31% of the legislature are trial lawyers. Less than 1% of the working population is trial lawyers. Over 60% of what's going on in the governor's race, money is coming in from, I call it dark money, from PACs and 501c4s, and you have no idea. You can go on the internet, you can do Google search, you can do whatever. You'll never know who the donors are. And I just think that's wrong. And that's why I say there's two lanes. There's me. I know how to get things done. I have governing experience for the first time in a very long time. I don't take money from anyone. And it's like, let's throw a grenade into the swamp and see what crawls out.
Well, we're kind of that way up here in Greenville too, so we certainly appreciate that. And I'm a tax guy. You're absolutely correct about that. The C4s and the PACs and not knowing who the donors are behind all this dark money is very troubling. And it's something that can be fixed or should be fixed here in the state of South Carolina. But they don't want the ruling class, as I think you call, they don't want to fix it. And
absolutely, they don't want to fix it. It's a simple fix, actually. And I tell people it's one of my high priorities to fix, which is why I don't take any money. You know, any money I take compromises me in some way. So do I want to do that? No, but I think it's an opportunity for us to really fix this, Jeff. You know, we've got to get back to 250 years ago, the gift we've given in the Declaration. Second paragraph, the Declaration. It simply says we were endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The very next sentence says, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed, which means that governments are there to protect your God-given rights. And if we can't get back to that, we're going to lose this state. We're going to lose this country. Now, unless you double down on stupid, you could see the federal government was going off the cliff under Biden. Without a doubt. In South Carolina, it's hidden. It's much more dangerous because it's there. We're a red state run like a blue state. And it's all hidden. The money is hidden. How they govern is hidden. And so we have to have the courage. We have to ask ourselves, do we have the courage to take this on? And do we have the courage to do what our founders did and not kick this to the next generation?
No, I mean, I completely agree to you. I mean, because I came from a different world too, not politics, really would not want to be involved in this. Who's crazy enough to do any of this type of stuff? But you literally look at it and it is so shocking and disturbing. You're like, if it's not me, then who? Who's got to get into it? And I kind of feel the pain that you're and the angst and the frustration that you have. So I'm a huge believer in it. And I will just make one comment. And I know education is a big thing for you. It's certainly a big thing for me. But I mean, literally the Education Oversight Committee here in the state of South Carolina was founded or started, I think, in 1996. Mm-hmm. We are still number 42. So, I mean, I'm like, why do we even have an Education Oversight Committee if they've yet to get us off the ground? So it has to be looked at from a completely different perspective, and that's what I think differentiates you from a lot of other candidates. For sure.
Well, Jeff, it goes beyond that. The Education Oversight Board that you're talking about is utterly useless. We shouldn't have a completely independent board like that. We could have, I don't know, a couple of people as part of the education department. But you got then you got the Constitutional Board, which is the the South Carolina Education Board, but it needs to be controlled by the governor. The governor needs to be involved. The governor needs to stop figuring out what color pocket kerchief he's going to wear for the next day, and whether his scissors are sharp enough to cut the next ribbon, and reassert the executive branch powers in Article 4 of the South Carolina Constitution, which simply says the governor is the supreme executive authority in the state. And I say, act like it. You have powers that no one, even the president doesn't have. He has line item veto power, but the president doesn't have. And in a supermajority state, he cannot uphold a veto. You need 1/3 of the House or 1/3 of the Senate to uphold a veto. That's a failure of leadership. It's not a failure of the system. And, like our founders said, without the three co-equal branches, you do not have this cross-check of government holding government in check. The executive branch has to hold the legislative branch in check and also hold all these out-of-control agencies started in the Woodrow Wilson era, actually. But if he just sits back and does nothing, you can't do it. We can't do it. We have to reassert executive power. That is the single biggest thing we can do in this state.
Yeah, and I again completely agree with you. And I think, quite frankly, I think it's the way it is by design, so they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
If we had a single governor with true executive power, and if they don't perform in 4 years, you can replace them. But right now, nobody knows who's in control. I mean, there are those of us that are kind of deep in it know that there's a few, but it's like running a business by committee, which I'm sure you would agree doesn't work. So,
yeah, no, absolutely not. First of all, Jeff, people love saying, "What is the first thing you do?" Well, the first thing we do is we got to go to a cabinet style of governance. I mean, we have to have a cabinet. We have to say by the way, we have a plan to take 101 agencies down to 35. But every one of those agencies needs to come into a cabinet, report to a cabinet position. We have to have cabinet meetings every week. What did you do last week? What are you doing next week? How are you measuring yourself? What's the metric? Simple stuff that we do in running a business. I mean, everyone's in charge, so no one is in charge. People love talking about roads. Think about roads. You got a 9-member commission in charge, 8 members appointed by the legislature. The 9th member is the Secretary of Transportation, appointed by the 8th. So
blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went to a presentation on roads up here. It's an issue up here in Greenville. Somebody's proposing a penny transportation tax, and we went to go sue it. And we agree with you, but it was kind of like, aren't we already paying for this? But I mean, even the funding sources, and it was so confusing about who was in control of what, and this person, that, and it's, again, I think by design, so nothing gets accomplished, and nobody's going to know where all the waste, fraud, and abuse is because it's so complicated to figure out. So
I need to be in charge. The governor needs to be in charge. I need to appoint the transportation secretary. I'll tell you about this funding thing. It's a hoax. Don't buy into it. They've been saying this for a long time. 10 years ago, they said, it's a funding thing. Give us the money, we'll fix the roads. $1.3 billion is what we were spending 10 years ago. $3.1 billion this year. And this Bureau of National Statistics, they published it for the whole nation. The percent of acceptable roads in South Carolina in that time went down. This is not a funding issue. All of you locally, if they ask for more money, say no. Always vote no. This is not a funding issue. Actually, funding makes it worse because they add to the bureaucracy. Ron DeSantis, a good friend of ours, is a family friend. I think is the best governor in the nation. And his Florida DOT for 25 million people has, give or take, about 5,000 people. Our SC DOT for 5 million people has, give or take, 4,300 people. What are we doing? This is not a money issue. Do not do it. Do not. I will highly advise anyone who comes to you and talks about some BS about the roads not being fixed because of money. It's a lie. I know how to fix the roads, and we'll fix them right away. Like I said, I ran a construction company in 50 states. This is not the way you run roads.
You're getting a resounding applause here. Everybody agrees with you. This is what we've been preaching and what we've been fighting for 5.5 years up here within the party and trying to grow and get more people out to vote and all those types of things. But you're actually making me look sane because I was like the bad guy for saying no. No is a good word. No should be the answer. And we actually have one of our new city council members that got elected in Simpsonville City Council that kind of changed the whole gamut, the power structure there, and that's what we were talking about earlier. He's all about voting no, so we're on board with that. Can you? I know you're big on judicial reform and some other things. What are your kind of top, platform issues? And I'll let you know. We've let everybody know too. You're going to be up here in Greenville on Saturday at 3:00 down in Fountain Inn, and we'll make sure everybody has the link, and we'll share that from off of your campaign. So hopefully some people come hear you live on Saturday up here in Fountain Inn.
Yeah, and I would encourage people. We just did this, as a matter of fact, 3 days ago. If you go to our website, readyforgovernor.com, go to policy. We've actually published a 12-page newspaper that lays out everything, not only what we're going to do, realize how we're going to do it. You can download the PDF. No one has ever done this before. I'd highly encourage you to read it, and you'll get a good feel for it. So first of all, I have to say, as far as taxes, we are over collecting. As a state, we are over collecting. We've got to stop over collecting taxes because we're taking this money and we're wasting it. Like I just told you at the beginning, there are no outcomes that we're getting. We're just growing the deep state. Last year, what did we do, Jeff? We took $500 million of our money, and we said the agencies don't like the offices they have downtown. We can't recruit more government employees. So we leased new buildings for these folks outside of Columbia from the biggest donor to the Republican Party for $500 million over 20 years. And of course, we're not going to use 2 men in a truck to move. That wouldn't fit our style. So we allocated $37.1 million to move them from downtown Columbia into their new fancy offices from the donor. We are just wasting money. So as far as platform, we got to get rid of the income tax the right way, not the way these politicians talk about it. Take this out, take that out. And there's some income tax reform now, but they increase spending 9.5%. So if you think about it as a family, you've got a 2-income family, you cut out one income. If you don't cut your expenses, you'll be bankrupt. So this is what, so I have laid this thing out. Florida is spending $2,300 less per person per year than South Carolina, and they have better everything. So we have laid it out. We said, all right. I said, Ron, Governor DeSantis, you set up something that's really big. So let us do this. We're going to target $1,500 per person per year. We're going to take all these monies from day one, all these agency cuts, and we're going to create a citizen trust fund. So we don't have all these battles about taxes for now. We're going to create a citizen trust fund, and twice a year on Christmas and on July 4th, we're just going to rebate it to the taxpayer. I'm telling you, Jeff, there's going to be billions of dollars coming back because we're going to take the savings and put it in that CTF so they can't go waste it again, or in some instances lose it. So the income tax needs to be gone. The property tax on cars and trucks is ridiculous, needs to be absolutely gone. We've got to reform property taxes in general. Why are property taxes going up? Because all of property taxes goes to local school districts and local municipalities, not to the state. And their spending is out of control. $19 billion in 2019, $30 billion this year. $30 billion. Where is it going? The administrators in the school system now exceed the teachers. That's how ridiculous it is. And we have actually, as part of Doge SC, we've developed a forensics audit. We're going to go in there into these local municipalities, school districts, say, we're going to do a forensics audit. They're going to say, home rule, you can't do that. We said, okay, great. Rule your home, because we're going to cut out the state funding starting tomorrow. for your viewers, for your listeners, if we don't get tough, we are not going to get it done. We cannot have all these talking points. You know, I love it. I know you guys all love Ralph Norman, you know, conservative, whatever it is. But
let me clarify one thing. Ralph Norman literally will not speak to us.
Okay.
Ralph Norman made a post, I think, earlier this week. Somebody sent me that he has an open door policy. He'll speak with any American, and he was explaining. And I'm sorry to diverge and take away, but he was explaining why he voted bad on the farm bill, and he said he would do an open door policy. So I texted him. Somebody sent it to me. I texted him a copy of that to his personal cell, and I asked him, if you have an open door policy, why will you not meet and talk with me, the Greenville County Republican Party, and apparently the Spartanburg County Republican Party, because he's not getting back to them either. So, I mean, don't think we're Rom Reddy fans. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't think we're Ralph Norman fans up here. So, just so you know.
And whether you're a fan or not, just tell the people the truth, because they're so cynical already of these politicians. Why do you keep saying, I'm not a politician, when you've been in office for 21 years, 10 terms? How are you not a politician? Why don't you tell people you run term limits? You need 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate to vote themselves out of a job. And these are the same people you're calling corrupt and you're going to clean out. You can't get 2/3 of them. You can't get anyone. The Freedom Caucus is probably going to vote for it, which is, I don't know, 15%. So stop making up all these stories. Tell people the truth. Tell people what you can deliver for them. And once we start doing that, we'll gain the trust of the citizen. I consider myself a citizen. As a citizen, I don't trust these politicians. And there's no way to regain this trust by continuing to make up these stories.
We one of the articles that I like that we put out on myscgop.news was to trust no one, and especially the politicians that you like the most, because those are the ones you just start blindly trusting them. And, and it's been our experience with some of the Freedom Caucus people. I mean, they're actually pushing different agendas than what they say, but that's a deeper story. And, but you're spot on with what we're seeing and our frustration, certainly here with the Greenville County Republican Party and what we've been fighting, for way too long. But it's like, you look at it from the outside, nobody really wants to be doing this. What would you call one of the comments we had earlier today was, and I was this person too. I was a freedom freeloader in the fact that I just thought everything was great. And then all of a sudden you pull back the cover and you look at something, and our issue was school choice, and you're like, this is horrendous. And then you start pulling back more, and everything is horrendous. So what you're doing, I feel your pain. And I'm excited about what you're doing and truly exposing it. So tell us a little bit about how you're seeing the campaign. I know you're limited on time, but how you're seeing the campaign develop and what's your kind of plan or goal for your plan for victory.
So the way this works for your listeners is this whole thing is the primaries are generally, I say, they're rigged for the ruling class, because most people don't realize that this election is over in the primaries in South Carolina. So only 400,000 vote out of 5.5 million. So if you get 100,000 votes, you're probably in a runoff. The donors, the deep state, the elites, they know that. They get their people to go there. Normal people don't. I never voted in that many primaries because I didn't think it was important. So normal people like us, we go and vote in November, we get the I voted sticker, and we think, oh, we did our job. And we don't realize it's rigged. So the way I tell people today is, if we want to do what we want to do, it is not good enough for us to meet expectations. Meet expectations meaning all of you go and vote. It's not good enough. It will not get it done. You have to overwhelm the vote. The way you overwhelm the vote is take 4 or 5 people with you. Just tell them, on the 250th anniversary of this country's founding, we have to do something about taking the state back. Come with me. Put your name on those voting rolls on this 250th anniversary. Get 4 or 5 people to go with you. You have to exceed your expectation if you want to overcome the deep state. Otherwise, Ron DeSantis said something, when I started this thing, he called me, he said, I said, I wanted to just run. I have so many issues. I just want to run issues. He said, Ron, you got this business hat on your head. He said, you can't do that in politics because the politicians will simply lie. They will lie, they will lie, and they will lie. And if you don't call them out, you're going to lose. Honestly, I have trouble calling these people out because I don't want to play this stupid game, you know. And so we keep talking about our stuff, but these people are lying, just like you said, just like I said about Norman, you know. And Mace is another one. No governing experience, not one iota, has never governed anything in her entire life. And you know, she says she's going to go take the wheel at a $42 billion economy. Alan, I've told Alan this. This is nothing I haven't told Alan. I know Alan. I've known him for a long time. I said, Alan, if I was running a company and the company was in trouble, will I go hire my lawyer to run the company? You've been the state lawyer. You've been for 15 years. You've always been a lawyer. You don't have governing skills. You know, punch your ticket, be a lieutenant governor, be something, a governing for, and then you'll be a good governor. So I hope the voters wake up and stop listening to, you know, all this nonsense and just say, we have to really get results for this state. We're stuck, Jeff. We haven't done anything in 20 years. You can look, take any metric other than taxes ever increasing and the favorite spending. You know what their favorite spending is? More. Yeah.
We're going to call it the More Bill. We ought to just file a More Bill. We will spend more and see how many people sign up for it. They probably will.
Yeah.
Well, any closing statement, comment? I mean, we have one question. Can you take a question? You mind?
I have no problem. I don't have any restrictions on question. You can ask me anything you want.
Yes, I'm Ray, and I'm the chairman of the pro-life committee here, and I was delighted that your response concerning S1095. My question though is, will you? That's why I was sitting. Anyway, the question is, will you be proactive as well? David Pascoe's already talked to me and said that he's very concerned about the illegal use of mail order abortion pills in the state. We don't need a new law. The law's already there. We do have a bill that's going to strengthen it. But would you use the governor's position to provide moral support for these actions against the mail order abortion pills?
So I'm going to say something that's personal, which is, you know, of course I'm pro-life, but I have two grandkids who were born at 25 weeks, plus or minus a week. One was born 1 week minus, one was born 1 week plus of 25 weeks. And they're beautiful children, and I'm glad they're here and in this world. And so, yes, absolutely, I believe in that. I believe that's what we need to do. But I also think all these legislators constantly fighting about something, get something done. You know, stop fighting about it all the time and arguing and doing this. And I'm all about getting things done, just like I did with judicial reform. I got all 85 Republicans in the House, Freedom Caucus, Family Caucus, some other caucus, all voting for it as a citizen. So I'm 100% pro-life. I'll do whatever it takes, and you will have my support.
Okay, we got one other question. I think I know it, but speak loudly and stand up, please.
Hi, Mr. Reddy. Thank you so much. It's so good to have you here today. I asked Nancy Mace on Monday what she was going to do about the geoengineering, and she said that she's already written a bill and she's going to ban it. What are your views on geoengineering, the chemtrailing?
So Nancy Mace, by the way, she's a prolific bill writer.
Yes.
And in 3 terms, I think she's number 2 in the House in writing bills, hundreds of bills. The only bill on which she's a primary sponsor that she's ever passed was she renamed a post office in Hilton Head. So I don't know about what Nancy Mace says. As far as geoengineering goes, we have a model, and that model is called Ron DeSantis in Florida. He has already passed it in 2025. Not only has he passed it, he's I think in October of this year, he told me that he is requiring all public airports to report any plane that has equipment for, this for geoengineering. They have to report it to the state of Florida. So he has got a very comprehensive bill. All we need to do is, and I'll tell you this, DeSantis will, like I said, we're friends. I helped Casey DeSantis start Hope Florida with my foundation. He'll give me the playbook for everything. That's the playbook we need to copy. I don't know if you've seen what he's done in 2025 with geoengineering. That is exactly what we need to do. These people are messing around with something, and I know it's stuck. Some bill is stuck somewhere. I glanced at the bill they have. I don't like it. It puts a lot of the power with these agencies like environmental services. That's a hoax. These agencies need to be torn down. They don't need to be given more power. We copy the DeSantis bill.
Listen, I don't know any better answers than all of that, because to me, it's frustrating. Yes, Ron DeSantis is the model for running a state. Do it. Look at what he did yesterday, and do it here. Tomorrow. It's not that complicated. But as you probably heard, the saying is McMaster will do it 2 years later and half as big. So that's been our problem. We call it the lost decade. So
it is the lost decade. It's a great word. These last 10 years for South Carolina, if we have another 10 like this, we will. I tell you, we will be at the bottom. We're challenging the bottom right now. We're not that far from the bottom in most major metrics.
100%. So we're very excited about your campaign. Do you have a question? Grab the mic and one last one.
Yeah.
Hold him over.
My question is, what is your stand on migration, legal and illegal, and the massive development that has taken place in South Carolina?
Okay, those are two different questions. So on the migration, the states gave the federal government certain powers in the Constitution. One of those powers is the power to protect the border. And when the federal government comes to the state and says, "Hey, I'm trying to protect the border, help me," of course we should help them. What is wrong with us? The question you need to ask yourself is why, after 2 years of Trump being in office, we have not passed a law in the state requiring the sheriffs of every county in the state to cooperate with ICE. We haven't passed that. It's still hand-to-hand combat here. It is crazy that we would give the federal government the power to manage our border, and then we'd turn around and say, when they ask for help, we say, "Well, we ain't going to help you." Well, you're the one who gave me the power. Why would you help me? So this is crazy. I'm going to give you my opinion about borders. Without borders, we don't have a country. And a border is like a house with a front door. We want people coming in through the front door. It's not because we hate the people on the other side of the door. It's because we love the people inside the house more. That's it. It's as simple as that. And so 100% we should cooperate. On your second issue, I have to tell you, this is where I disagree with a lot of people. I don't believe that just growth and in-state migration is good. As a matter of fact, one of my platform things that I talk about my policies, I'm saying, if someone moves in from out of state, from Mondami or the other surfer dude, what's his name in California, Newsom, if someone moves in from these states, we should say for 5 years you did not get the homestead exemption. We should not be giving them the homestead exemption. For those of you who do not know this, the homestead exemption is subsidized by the state. The homestead exemption is not something that said, "Oh, we had the local governments cut their cost so they could give us the homestead exemption." The local government just kept spending like drunken sailors, and the state said, "Oh, I'm going to give you 1% sales tax. I'm going to make the rest up from the general fund." So it's subsidized by us from the state coffers. We should not be subsidizing in-state migration. We should say you have to live here for 5 years before you qualify for that. So people say growth. I like growth where people come in and create jobs and contribute. not where people are coming in to run away from high tax states and then work long distance from South Carolina, and we give them tax subsidies. That's silly growth, you know?
Well, I wish we could find something we don't agree on. So I mean, I'm like, this is all making too much sense. Yes. Let's see. One more question, if you don't mind.
My name is Lindsay Trexler. One thing that I have been tracking since the early 2000s is the influx of the religion of peace and the funding of mosques by our government. Where is your stand on it?
Well, I didn't totally understand the question. The influx of what?
Mosques, Islamists.
Oh yeah. Look, I will say this, and this is a mistake I think we made in interpretation. Our declaration simply says freedom of religion. It doesn't say freedom from religion. And what we've done is we've taken God out of our entire government, society, everything, and we've created this separation of church and state, where we've taken Christianity out of everything because we think it's a separation of church and state, but we allow everything else. You know, it's a sort of a reverse psychology, I think. The separation of church and state is a hoax. It is not in the Constitution. It started when Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Danbury Baptist Association in 1802 in a long letter. And as part of that letter, he said something about, and we can't forget the wall between church and state. So the courts took that as interpretive language and have been interpreting it that way, but it's wrong. It should be challenged. We are a Judeo-Christian society, and to take religion completely out of everything, that's not how we were founded. Our Constitution was founded on the scriptures. Did we know that? You know, the thing I quoted earlier, we're endowed by a creator with certain unalienable rights. You know where that came from? It came from Acts 5.29. We must follow God, not men. Right? We have forgotten all this. We've forgotten all this, but we feel like, we have to accommodate everything else. I've lived in other parts of the world. We just lived in Italy for 2.5 years. I will tell you, America is the most generous, most accommodating, least racist nation in the world.
That's right.
So stop using all this stuff. We use all this stuff. You know why? All the stuff you're talking about. You know why we do it? It's all virtue signaling. Right. We try to say, "Oh, I'm not racist. Oh, I'm not anti-religion. I'm not something else." A very smart guy, Ben Carson, much smarter than I'll ever be, he said this, and let's not forget this. We cannot be the land of the free if we're not the home of the brave.
Wow.
That's right.
We have to be brave. We've got to stand up for our values. We've got to believe what this country was founded on and not forget that. And we're running away from that. And we do all this, some of the stuff you're talking about it's all virtue signaling, you know, just like here, I will tell you in Isle of Palms, they had this big committee meeting and they said they were going to donate money to the Mother Emanuel Church where the shooting happened, several years ago. And the committee, after 2 months of thinking about it, they said they were going to donate $5,000. And it comes to the Isle of Palms Council in a matter of 12 minutes. I have it on tape. In a matter of 12 minutes, they virtue signaled their way to prove who was the least racist of them. They virtue signaled their way from 5,000 to 50,000.
Wow. I'm not surprised. We used to live down on the Isle of Palms, so I get it. And my father had all kinds of frustrations.
And by the way, I also believe that we shouldn't have government donating to nonprofits. Right. It's our money. If we want to donate, we'll donate. We don't need government doing it on our behalf.
100%. Well, Mr. Reddy, appreciate your time. Love to have you anytime. Love to host you up here in Greenville, whatever you're doing, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And we'll try to get some more people out there. I did hear it's almost packed, but I hear you're almost sold out.
We're the only ones doing these solo rallies. It's crazy. We just pack these places out. Most people don't do that. They go to all the various forums and all that. I don't go to that because a lot of the times it's just talking points. You ask them the question, you already know the answer. You ask me the question, like Renee said, God knows what's going to come out of his mouth.
Well, I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody to shake the system up, because what we have been doing, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and
over and over again.
And we need to do something different. So
thank you, sir. Thank you all. You were all a great audience. I love the questions. And please come see us.
Thanks, sir. And we will see you tomorrow. Appreciate your
all
time.
Right. Sounds good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was.
So what'd y'all think?
I really got to know him more. I didn't get that much.
Yeah. I think he has a different impression of us, thinking, we're Ralph Norman supporters. I mean, maybe some people are. I don't know. The guy won't talk to me.
Made it clear.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change his subject, but I'm like, the guy literally. Listen,
I hope Rob was watching.
I hope he will. I'm gonna take that cut and I'm gonna send it to him. Yes, sir. Mike, y'all, you have the mic. Pass him the mic. Can I turn this back on?
Having been to his first meeting that he had up here in the upstate, I think he is much more relaxed and in better control of what he's saying. He's just so much more comfortable.
Yeah, a lot of us, he had one of his first rallies, or maybe the first rally was here. The very first one was up here in Greenville. And a lot of us went to that. And yeah, I think he has honed it down a little bit better, which is good. It takes time. And it is difficult to kind of, get in the role. That's why other politicians are good at it. I mean, they're used to doing it, and that's, just kind of rolls off their tongue. But he's not pandering to anybody. He's saying, and it's kind of like, and I hate to say, I'm not comparing myself, but I mean, this is what we do here. We do X. If you want us to do that, elect us to do it. If you want to go back to the rhino ways and all that stuff, elect those people. We don't really care. But I'm like, I got better things to do. I assume he's got better things to do. And, but he's frustrated. I'm frustrated substantially with what's going on. And we need somebody to kind of shake some things up. He's not the first for a newspaper, though. We actually had a newspaper, too. I'm teasing. That's what I had to do. I was going to tease him. Like, what are you doing? You're stealing all. He's literally stealing all of our ideas. So, but it was great. So, what else did anybody think? I mean, he did answer the questions. Most people flub on the geoengineering thing. I like that. Yes. I mean, and he answered it. And DeSantis, I guess, has done stuff about it down there. My comment has always been, I have no earthly idea about what it is, but there's enough people that are interested in it. Pass a law to do X, Y, and Z and move forward. If it's not actually occurring, then who has a problem with a law sitting on the books that doesn't apply to anybody? So,
Mike should be over there.
Scott's got a comment.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't let Scott ask his question.
You never know what's going to come out. Okay. Yeah. So where I got a little butt hurt.
Hold on, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So originally.
Hey, folks. Oh, please.
Yeah. Hey.
One at a time.
Conversations. Okay, where I got a little butt hurt with him is the Doge.SC got shut down, the website. And that kind of upset me because I'm like, you've got momentum. Yeah. Don't shut it off. And I still am. I still want him to put that back up or give me the domain because I'll do something with it. But anyway, hearing him today, I'll let that go. I'm good.
All right, very good. That's great.
Because it's now part of his platform. He's going to bring it in.
Oh, no, it's not up and running.
The website.
Yeah. But that's how people know where to go. I mean, that's the whole point. is that the education and everything, they think they'll just see, they search it, and then they get a domain error. And I'm like, oh, but anyway, that's.
Well, that's an all right. Hold on.
What's that? No,
That's okay. That we didn't need to go there.
After you hear him talk, it's like, nah.
I know.
You know.
Because he's gonna do it in this.
There's a guy with a mic. Why don't we let the guy with the mic speak?
Well, my first impression was maybe he's.
Ron's the smartest guy in the room. He likes talking, so he knows to get the mic. Speak louder.
My first impression before today was that he was a spoiler. He's just getting in, draw votes from somebody else.
It's an issue.
Maybe he looks like a Democrat. Okay.
Speak it louder so they can hear you back there.
But today, you know, he was so natural. The stuff came up. It's not a rehearsed speech. He's like Trump. He'll take a question. He'll give you a straight answer because it's already there. It's in his heart. He's been looking at it for a long time, obviously. I think we just need to learn something here.
And he does to what you and Bob were teaching with the Constitution class. I mean, he's very focused on the Constitution as the document and take it from there, because you also already make reference to the state constitution. So he takes it from there and then builds upon it. Most people just, you know, they think, oh, well, this is the way it is, and we just do it. I mean, literally at the meeting we were at, you know, Kurt McGahee's meeting, you know, with the League of Women Voters, you know, I mean, he was explaining the road stuff, and they're sitting there talking about how they got all the different groups together. And they're talking, you know, they're like, oh, we had to promise them it'll be a meeting and it won't be on the record or recorded and all. I'm like, they're all public groups. They're all public institutions that are siloed and not working together. So they kind of had to promise confidentiality to get them to work together. I'm like, are you hearing yourself? I mean, these are public organizations that somebody, i.e., in my impression, the county administrator, who's been paid big bucks to do this, not a staff person in the roads group, you know, that took it upon herself and did an admirable job getting people together. Why did the county administrator not do this a long time ago? But it becomes one of those things that they just all think this is the way it is and it's okay. When I'm like, no, you are a public servant. You have this job and or this elected position to do something. Don't go along with the way it used to be. Find out, you know, go back to the founding documents, if anything, and then work forward from there and look at it with a clean slate. I do it with Olga. I'm like, we will write something up, documents or plan something. And I'm like, okay, now just, you know, we've got it. We think we're at a good spot. Clear your mind completely and look at it as fresh as you can. You know,
much our government is done in the dark.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Two-
don't see it, we don't know it.
Right.
Simple job like being on a board or something like that reveals
Stunning.
life. We're not.
Yeah. And a lot of politicians will talk that, but who's going to force it? You know, because I mean, in reality, the governor is number 7 or so on the powers, you know, influence scale, however you want to call it. But, you know, they have the bully pulpit and you have to force it. You know, I don't see a Ralph Norman who can't even sit down with us, you know, which is, I mean, we censure Pamela Vett about it. I mean, my God, do we need to go censure Ralph Norman, you know, for not being even willing to talk to us during a campaign season? He's asking for people's vote and he refuses to talk to us. But, you know, we one of our friends was at the thing the other day, you know, she went to the Adam Morgan's office down there when he did his press conference 2 weeks ago, I guess, and talks about, oh yeah, I had a 15-minute private conversation with him. I'm like, you're taking a 15-minute private conversation with, I hate to say, you know, I mean, with an individual person, but you won't come sit down with us and talk to the party or the board or me or whatever. I mean, you're not willing to do that. I mean, you know, why on God's green earth or any, you think you should be the governor of the state? It's an obvious point. It's like what Rom Reddy talks about, obvious points. You know, Nancy Mace, what we like about her is she's going to go out there and yell and scream. You know, maybe you don't need to be an operator as much because, you know, I mean, there's not, you know, the power. You need somebody to yell and scream. So, you know, maybe they should hook up. You know, that, yeah, I'd be happy with that. You know? Yeah. Nancy keeps saying she wants Ralph to be the road czar for her. Maybe those two need to find.
One of them, I'm glad you brought that up, DeSantis, because that's what's the prime point I loved about this guy. He says, we don't have to invent the wheel again. Just look at the state of Florida. I made that same question to Pamela Yvette. And oh, we can't do that. They have a different constitution than
No,
we
no,
do.
no, no, no.
We have-
As
There's
we
all
teach,
kinds
where
of
there's a
reasons
will, there's a
not to do something.
yes. As we teach, where
Bring
there's a
them
will.
up here. Teach us. We can be students of Florida.
The thing is, Ron, you don't have to be a student of Florida. You just have to want to do it.
Yep.
You know, I mean, great. They do things. It gives you cover. Oh, well, we're just doing what they did in Florida. We're going to pass the same geoengineering bill they did in Florida. It gives you cover. They've already done it. It's been through a vetting system or whatnot. But the problem is there's no will to do it here. It's like the Moms for Liberty people talking last night about the fact that, you know, they passed their, you know, parental rights bill through the House 116-1, but they can't get it through the Senate because nobody even looks at it because they don't have time. Well, they got it and it got put in committee on February 28th, and they didn't have time in March, April, first half of May. I mean, when, you know, if not, you know, not now, when?
This is
Well, they were
standard
too busy
practice
going to the
anyway.
Hold on.
This is standard practice anyway.
Yes.
Most states look at the other states' legislation as a model that's built off of. So that's not something new. They just don't want to do it.
They don't want to
They
do
don't
it.
wanna do it.
Yes. Yes. Not that they can't do it. And that's the answer you got from another governor's candidate.
Clean the swamp.
Yes. Drain the swamp in Columbia. So anybody who wants a Maya GOP bumper sticker that says drain the swamp in Columbia, then we got them. Yes, ma'am.
He said to throw a grenade in the swamp and see what happens. So I'd like to throw that grenade.
I think people that he needs to do a TV ad about throwing grenades. You know, you see the grenades you throw in the lake and all the fish come up. You know, that'll be the swamp creatures. So. Okay. All right. 12:25. Congressman Timmons is supposed to be here at 12:30. So I guess we got a seat ready for him. Scott wanted to say something. Yes.
And then can we listen to your video?
We can real quick if we can get it to work.
Okay, elections are coming, right?
Are they?
Where's the, just so people.
You can have a seat and speak into theirs.
Oh, okay.
Because we got to kill time for 5 minutes. I will say somebody did ask Nancy Mace the question, your question. Oh, he did? Yeah. And it was kind of a cute thing. You know, it's a good, I mean, I guess she was prepared for it. Right. Speak loud. Yeah. Grab. Yeah.
That mic doesn't help.
Yeah. You got to speak loud. Speak into the mic for the crowd, the TV, or in.
So I couldn't hear the questions that Nancy Mace was asked, but I could hear her replies.
Yes.
And my question, to just in a real nutshell, was along the lines of how she felt like she contributed to the state of where we are, of the confusion of 1 million genders that people think that we have, and that men and women can't have spaces, you know, whether it be the Citadel or the Boy Scouts or the women's restroom or women's sports and stuff like that, because I firmly believe in two genders, two sexes, let's just say. But the point is that my question is just like, I'm all for, like, you know, equal opportunities and whatnot, and it would be a respectful question to her, but it would be, is, you know, how did, you know, there's no off switch. So when do we turn this switch off? And now we're at a point of confusion with everybody to where people are doing all kind of crazy things to me. And you know, like, how did she felt like she would contribute to that? And then also, but my ultimate question at the end would have been, is adamant as she is with keeping men out of women's spaces, which I'm all for, how adamant or how much would you go for men to keep women out of our spaces, i.e. like the Citadel, or now the Boy Scouts, which are now the Scouts, which should actually be the Boy Scouts. That would be my question. I mean, and I'm kind of leaning towards Nancy because I think she's like you said, a fire.
Yeah, and you know, she was the first female graduate of the Citadel, but she was not necessarily the person that advocated for getting in there. But there was a 53 grad, I think it was 53. He made a statement that he was not supportive of women going to the Citadel, but he was glad that she did, and he was happy that she graduated and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, she can do the standards. I mean, but I just think when you advocate that, and then it gets to the point where there's no satisfaction that was ever met to say, okay, you know, I mean, I would challenge any woman anywhere
what rights do I have that you cannot try to do outside of, say, playing the NFL or something like that? I mean, women have a lot of rights. And that's what I love about America. 250 years, we've come way more further in progression than anything compared to any other country. And that's just my statement.
And you heard Rom Reddy's on about it, and we've seen it around the country. That's the South is not prejudiced. I mean, the worst racism I've ever seen was in Boston, Massachusetts. You know, I mean, what you see and know goes on in other countries is far worse than what goes on in America. But they look at us like we're the bad people. The South is horrible, right, because of Civil War, and then America in general is just as horrible because
Yeah, but if you want to go to the Civil War, you have to look into history. I mean, you look at who the party was. You know, it was the left. That was supporting them.
Yeah, but that just to conclude that with Nancy, I mean, the person made the comment, "Oh, I was supportive of women going there." She goes, "I wasn't either." So I was like, that was a good answer. That was a quick, good answer for him. Scott.
Okay, real quick. I'm a poll clerk and Sycamore precinct.
And how much do you get paid for being a poll clerk?
It's actually between 200 and 300 for poll clerk.
200 for
yeah, I think
I was like 160.
No. The poll workers
per hour is better administrator.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's cheap.
Okay. So what they do is for a poll clerk, not poll worker, they've raised the pay that we don't know exactly where it's going to land. It's probably going to be somewhere around 270, but
for the day, really?
For the day, yeah. And
the counties can supplement. The state pays something, and the county supplements.
Because the problem is they're upping that pay to keep us going back because people don't volunteer. And this is the new poll book. They actually cleaned up. I mean, I read through this and I was shocked. I mean, they did a really good job. And yeah, it's a nice book. Olga, I'll try to get you a copy. But what they did for the poll training is this is the training for the clerks. They had us all go through what do you call it, the balance sheet, and Dennis gave us like hard issues. Like you have part of the information you have to back into what your counts are. Normally we keep the counts throughout the day and it's really simple, but he gave us like bad numbers and everything just to teach us what they deal with down in county when people come to bring their sheet in and it's wrong.
When did you do this class?
Monday.
Okay, so that's why he's all excited about it.
And it was funny because we were all like, I mean, all of us were like, whoa, this is wrong. So he kind of gave us a taste of what they deal with down in county. And what I'm trying to do is get more poll workers in because we have to train you to become poll clerks. And that's the idea is we train the next person that comes in. So if anyone wants to be a poll worker, we're going to need June 9th, of course. Probably, I think the 23rd, I think is the runoff, which will probably be a runoff. And then in November as well. So
we're going to do poll watcher training.
yeah. And there'll be poll watcher training. So poll watcher training, if you're thinking of doing poll watcher training, we need you as poll workers too.
Don't you?
Yes, we do.
Only like some volunteers.
Because what we do is we train the poll watchers, and then they know what All right. Anyway, you get paid as a poll worker, but
I'll give you coffee.
okay, I know it's not a
Coffee
problem.
donuts.
But yeah, that's our issue is that finding good people, and we have a lot of good people in this room to be poll workers. And it's tough. It's one day, but actually the primaries are simple. I mean, you're bored all day long, so it's like grab a book and sit around. But
we're going to get more people to come out. So.
Hopefully we're working on more people. We want more people turning out. And there actually might be the other opportunity, and we'll talk about it when the congressman gets here. If they redistrict, they would postpone the congressional races till August or whenever.
Unfortunately,
hold on. What?
Starting to get messages.
Yeah.
So the problem with that is that the counties have no real good mechanism to say, oh, don't vote for this person because we're not electing them. So example, if a name gets on the ballot and it's too late, like they're decertified after the name's already on the ballot, that's a huge problem. And as poll workers, we can't tell you that person is not,
right.
And that's what we need to improve the state with is how to communicate that there is an election and then who's not on the who's not.
And I think that's the governor's race. One of the people on the Republican side for governor, I guess their check bounce.
Yes, yes,
whatever. So.
And they decertified her.
Yeah, so she's been decertified. Well, we have our next special guest.
Oh my gosh.
You've been demoted.
Congressman Timmons is here. We've got him from. He'll stay an extra 4 minutes. Because he's got some good stuff to talk about. This is going to be interesting. Well, this is the 4th District Congressman. We don't know where the 4th District is anymore, apparently. So we'll figure that out. So welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. We see you on Fox and other things and doing some fun stuff. I see I guess you've been doing some interviews on RAV or some other things like that. So this is great.
And deposing everyone. I got to depose Bill and Hillary Clinton. We
Yeah.
had Secretary Lutnick yesterday. It's been a wild ride. A lot of firsts in Congress recently.
Really? Great. It's fantastic. So tell us, I guess, I don't know if you're going to do an opening statement, kind of what you've been doing, but, we don't have a lot of questions necessarily, but other than, what do you think is going on with this redistricting?
Sure. Well, first, let me just say, this has been the most rewarding year and a half of my public service in my entire life. We all worked very hard to get the president elected, and he promised that he was going to deliver for the American people, and it has been a sprint. He is superhuman. The fact that he's able to do all of these things at the same time, he's got a fantastic team around him. And I mean, whether it's securing the border, whether it's renegotiating all of our trade agreements, passing incredible legislation to help grow the U.S. economy, help working families, permitting reform, regulation, incentivizing foreign direct investment, all these things. I mean, it has been a wild ride.
We call it Christmas every day.
Hey, speaking of Christmas, the Virginia Supreme Court gave us an early Christmas present. But no, seriously, it has been the most rewarding work of my life in the last year and a half, and we are just getting started. And so, obviously, the most important thing right now is to keep the House, grow the Republican majority, keep the Senate, so we can continue delivering for the American people. And, the winning is just beginning. So the midterms are coming, and it is incredibly important. Obviously, the redistricting effort in Florida, Texas, now in Virginia has all been favorable. And I guess right now we're at a +8 with all the different current redistricting. We can get up to +12 or 13. So I like our chances in the midterms. And I think the most important thing is that we finish the conflict in Iran and get the price of oil back down so we can let all of the things we did last year kind of come to fruition, because all of the incentives that we did last year for economic growth, they're all there. We just have one or two lingering issues we've got to deal with. So between the redistricting efforts that we're doing and once we wrap up the conflict in Iran, I think the price of gas will go down and we'll be off to the races. And then in November, every American is going to say they're not just better off than we were 2 years earlier, they're incredibly better off. And so I think that will give us the 2 extra years that we need to really make the generational change the president's promised.
Yeah, and I know you talked about just spending 10 years in Congress, so this will be your
I'm so happy to come home. I hope it's not this election cycle, but I'm so happy to come home
but
in 2.5 years.
But you've also said you were really excited about having this 4 years with Trump and closing out that 10 years. If Trump runs in 2028, are you going to run again for
Listen, I'm a young man, and it's hard keeping up with him. So I will do this. I'll tell you this. Whatever the president asks me to do, I'll probably do that.
That I would understand for sure. But it was funny. I was looking through a list of just news articles of things that have happened over the past week, and it was Trump this, Trump that. I mean, it was 1,000 different things and 1,000 different deep topics. And I'm like, where does this guy come up with the time? It's like he is literally up 24/7.
I think the biggest thing he learned from this first administration now is that the people around you matter.
Yeah.
And he has an incredible team, and they all support him. They support the mission. They support the dream. And when you have everybody moving in the same direction, you can really get a lot done. And right now, everybody's moving in the same direction. And I love watching Secretary Rubio do something else. Whether it's DJ, he was the press secretary last week. He's still the national security advisor and the Secretary of State, and he's got like 3 other titles. But him and JD Vance, they're both just working so hard. And I've gotten to know the Treasury Secretary, and they're just all just incredibly talented, and they're loyal people. And so this is what happens when you get the right people in the right spot on the team, and they're just crushing it. It's awesome just to be a part of it, supporting them for Congress.
Well, it's fun just trying to do what we do from here, supporting that.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. None of this would have been possible without the work that everybody put in over the last few years. And I really think that this is one of the best places in the world to live, to raise a family, to work, to grow a business. And you can see that by the number of people that are moving here. I just tell everybody, like, remember why you left where you left. Please do not do to our beautiful home what you did to yours where you came from.
We certainly agree. I don't know. And then the discussion point about that is people in the past did some planning to kind of get this growth here in Greenville. Nobody had a plan to stop it. So now the problem is trying to figure out how to stop it. It's a statewide problem. So that's frankly that's why we came up here.
And until California and New York change their policies, this problem is only going to get worse.
Well, Ohio, and I think Vivek's been elected up there, but I think Ohio has a decreasing population.
I don't know if y'all saw the funniest thing I've seen on the internet in a while. It's like the most expensive movie ever made was Avatar, like $237 million. And they said that just got topped by the mayor of New York, Mamdani. He recorded like a 60-second video outside of Ken Griffin's penthouse saying, we're going to tax the rich. And Ken Griffin goes, well, I'm going to move to Miami, and I'm taking 6,000 people with me. What do you think? What do you think the tax implications of a guy worth tens of billions of dollars and 6,000 employees moving to Florida are? I can't even imagine. But I mean, I've been to New York recently. It's terrible. It's not safe, and it's just falling apart. And you go to DC, where, and if you haven't visited DC recently, you got to come. I mean, it's incredible. The president we're spending billions and billions of dollars to beautify the city. All the 5,500 homeless people have been relocated to hotels, and they're getting help. They're getting drug counseling. They're getting new clothes. They're getting substance abuse counseling, and they're getting their lives back on track. And we got our National Guard walking around 4 or 5 at a time, and they're just making sure everybody's safe. And it really is an incredible environment. Even the crazy liberals, they begrudgingly are happy the National Guard's there. They're like, oh, we don't like them. We don't like them. We like them. And I'm like, no, you love that they're here because you can walk around and feel safe, and there's no trash anywhere. And I mean, the stuff that they have done to beautify Washington, D.C., it's all designed to culminate July 4th. And if you can come to D.C. this summer, you really ought to, because, I mean, everything is fixed. Everything's beautiful. The reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial, they're currently coating it right now with this turquoise coat, and it's going to be just incredible. And so, I mean,
it's not pink or rainbow.
No.
All right, making sure.
Oh yeah, the Black Lives Matter Plaza got painted over. I was like, but it really is. It's just a special time right now, and we've worked so hard to get this opportunity, and the president is making sure that we are not letting one moment go to waste, and it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us, everybody was disappointed what happened in 2020, but in hindsight, it's probably the best thing that could have happened. It gave him and his people the opportunity to plan, and thankfully he ran again. So.
Well, and honestly, the Biden administration, or whoever was running the country, it wasn't Joe Biden, they just got so crazy, and they were just doing things, and their policies were so insane that 77 million Americans said that's not the American that we want. And so here we got 4 years, and we have a mandate, and we're delivering.
Good. Well, I think so. I'm happy with what you guys are doing and what you're supporting with President Trump. So we've been appreciative of that. And just to remind everybody, we were number 5 in call banking, and for Trump Force 47. I don't know how they did that, but I think what happened is we ended up having I guess, a program or whatnot, and then we shared it with people around the state. So we have to give credit to some other people outside of Greenville County.
I nearly got heat stroke in Pickens, and I nearly lost a finger in New Hampshire. So I had the 120 degrees and negative 20 degrees.
Yes, it was. So what else? What about the redistricting? Can we get to that? Or
it's incredibly important. I want to be in the majority. I've served in the minority. It is not fun.
Right.
And so I think we have an opportunity here in South Carolina to go 7-0, but we got to be careful. And we got maps now, and I think that those maps are not unreasonable. The PVI that I've seen, the partisan voter index I've seen, one of the districts is R5. We got 2 R+7s. They got 1 R8. Obviously, I don't care how they draw my lines because this is one of the most conservative areas in the country, and I feel like I've been working hard, and I know the people here. But some of these other districts, I'm got some idea. I got some concerns about. I mean, an R+5 against Jim Clyburn, that's not a winning proposition. That man has been doing this for 30 years. He is 84 years old, but he's kind of like Trump. This is funny. Bill Clinton is 79. Donald Trump's 79. Hard to believe that. President Trump runs circles around 30-year-olds, and Bill Clinton is not doing well. But let me just say that Jim Clyburn is more like Donald Trump than he is like Bill Clinton. So I mean, he's going to run. He has unlimited resources, and so we got to be very, very careful about what we're doing here because to go from 6-1 to 7-0 sounds great. The thought of going to 5-2 or 4-3 does not sound good. And we are currently still in a conflict in Iran, and gas prices are going through the roof, and midterms are tough. So these are the conversations that the legislature is having right now. My biggest concern is decoupling. Obviously, we just found out that the cost of this would be $2.5 million to decouple, and I don't know if that's a good use of taxpayer dollars. And I mean, the question is, if we got to delay, how long do we have to delay? I mean, could we go to maybe the second Tuesday in July, third Tuesday in July, and keep everybody together? I know that this is just very disruptive. So they got to figure out what they're going to do. I know a lot of people are very adamant that they're not going to decouple. I mean, whatever we got to do, whatever we're going to do, we got to do it quick. And they got to look at the numbers. They got to make this decision, and we got to decide whether we're going to go for the 7-0. And there's just a lot of process surrounding that that's really tricky. And there's rare days that I say I'm happier in DC than I would be in Columbia, but this is one of them. This is not my problem; it's their problem. So I'm definitely watching how it's going to play out.
How hard is the president actually pushing for South Carolina to do the switch?
So until I've talked to the White House pretty much every day in the last week about this, but I have not talked to them since the Virginia decision.
Okay.
So I don't know how that analysis kind of is going to impact it. I know that the former analysis was I'd rather be fighting for an R5 in South Carolina than dealing with whatever D2 in Pennsylvania. So, I mean, creating competitive districts in South Carolina has its merit. It's worth it if the outcome is we're going to not have the majority. It's 100% worth it. But the question is how does that analysis get impacted by Virginia overturning their redistricting? So that's something that we're going to figure out. But again, I think the people in Columbia are the ones that are looking at this, and now we have maps that we generally kind of can agree on. And I've seen the partisan voter index data that is not just 2024; it's the last 4 cycles average, which is what you're supposed to do. Right. 80,000 people moved into the 4th Congressional District last year. So, I mean, these PBIs are interesting. I mean, who's voting, how many people are voting. And then the other thing is if we decouple, talk about turnout issues, you're going to have people that are going to have to vote 6 times this year. That's crazy. So, I mean, these are the conversations that are being had in Columbia. If we can get 7-0, I'm all in. And like I said, draw my maps however you want to. I'm happy. Do
you still live in the 4th of the new district?
Yes, the last. It's funny. I'm actually planning to build a house, and I thought it was in the 4th, but the maps do not have it in the 4th. But I currently live in the 4th in all of the maps that I've seen. So but it's just kind of it's crazy. And these are unprecedented times, and we've got to work through it. And we've got to work through it not from a mob mentality. We got to work through it from a process, from a procedure. We got to make sure we avoid unintended consequences, and we also have to work on fairness. And I'm not talking about fairness for Democrats. They don't play fair. I don't play fair. Right. But we got to make sure that all the different candidates running for all the different offices, there's fairness there. And I mean, just creating chaos, and it's just a lot can go wrong. So to all my friends, to the people I even don't like in Columbia, they got to get this right.
Right. Yeah, and there are a lot of people that are, you talk about the mob mentality. There are some people that are using this as an opportunity to promote themselves, get more, likes on their Facebook and their Twitter feeds and all that kind of stuff. And it's frustrating because there's a science to it.
There's so many issues that we have to work through, and we got to do it quick. And so it's good that there's maps now that will achieve the objective within reason. I mean, if we couldn't get to an R5 in every district, I would say that's a bad idea. But like an R5 is actually the number that I wrote. I wrote an op-ed that my team wouldn't let me post. They said you just wait. But I mean, in my op-ed, the number I said was an R5. And if we can't get an R5 in every district, we shouldn't do it. We got an R5. Now the question is are the two R7s and the R8 too much risk? Because this is what's going to happen. I mean, again, Jim Clyburn is he's an incredible politician, and he's been doing it for 30 years. Talk about 30 years of IOUs, and he's never needed a raise. So he now has virtually unlimited resources. Jamie Harrison spent $160 million. I mean, for statewide to lose by 12 points, Jim Clyburn could easily spend 10, 20, 30, $40 million to keep his seat. And he's got the resources and the people that owe him to do it. So, I mean, that's an uphill battle. We got to have the right candidate if we're going to challenge him. We got to figure out what district he's going to run in. There's a lot of ifs that we got to work out. And I think that they're going to work through these problems. And I mean, I think the bigger issue is when is the election? Right. And when is the moment where we are not going to talk about this anymore? We're going to say we've moved on. Because technically, I mean, people already voted. So 500 ballots have already come in from overseas for military ballots. So, I mean, when early voting starts, are we done? Are we going to stop talking about it then? Are we going to talk about it after, June 9th? Are we going to have the election and then fill out the results? I don't know. Nobody's ever done this before. I feel bad for my, Russell Farage, Gary Biggs, and Wes Clymer are already the Republican nominees. So they don't have primaries. So I'm sure they're just sitting there like, oh, this is fun. I get a new district. What district am I in? Huh? But look, I've talked to all of them, and they're all in. I mean, we want a 7-0. We just got to make sure that we can draw it and that we can win it. And this is the other one, that we can defend it. It needs to be durable. And so those are the conversations we're having in Columbia. And, we got our best people on it. We're going to figure it out.
Well, just from our perspective, the party, I mean, we're up for the challenge. So if we go for the 7-0, I think the party, our county parties, our state party, we need to be fighting to win hearts and minds and get the numbers up. So
listen, there's no question in my mind that the best part of South Carolina is Greenville and Spartanburg. But if I have to go spend the summer in Charleston campaigning, I won't complain.
And you can't say Spartanburg, Greenville.
Spartanburg.
But I do know they get a little sensitive about the order that we say the name. The two counties in. So, what else is going on? Anything?
So we had a huge win this past week. So I've been working on the TABS Act, which is the Timely and Accurate Benefits Act, for 2 years now. This is kind of crazy. So if you use technology to confirm that people do not make enough money for social safety nets, so SNAP, Medicaid, there's a bunch of others, but you get the idea. You're not allowed to make more than a certain amount of money depending on the geography, the census data. So they used to use basically, self-attestation, some W-2, some taxes. It's just very antiquated. So technology now, you can log into a website, log into your bank account, log into your Zelle, your Venmo, your Cash App, and immediately you can prove that you do not make enough money. Listen, social safety nets are great. We just need to make sure the people that are getting them deserve them and are not abusing them. So there's a trial study in Missouri, and they saved 20% off all their social safety nets. So 20% savings just to use technology to confirm that someone does not make enough money and actually is entitled to it. I've been working on this for 2 years. It seems very straightforward. Like, why would we not do this? So I kind of got, not a little bit of pushback, but there's some old people in Congress that don't understand how that would actually work. So I was talking to the Treasury Secretary a few weeks ago, and I was telling him about this bill, and like, this is very straightforward. He was like, yeah, we should do that. So a week later, somebody from Treasury calls the Oversight Committee, like, hey, we need to run Timmons' bill. And I'm like, I've been asking for 2 years. So you know what we did? We marked it up, and it passed unanimously out of committee. And we're actually voting on it probably either next week or the week after. So again, such a huge step towards making sure that we are cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse. And so I always say this, and I talk to a lot of my colleagues across the aisle who think that certain people could get wrapped up and not get benefits that's actually entitled to it. I said, hold on. This is only step one. And step two is to use better data to get benefits to people faster. I actually think that we have an obligation. If there's generational reliance on social safety net, it's wrong. Like, we have failed. So if a grandmother, mother, and a daughter all have received social safety nets, we have absolutely failed. And we don't always hear about the benefits cliff. There's a certain amount of money in each state that if you make too much, you don't get any benefits. And that's not good. You should create a system that incentivizes people to get out of the rut they're in. People fall into ruts all the time. We need these social safety nets to help them get back on their feet. And those social safety nets should be designed to get people out of that situation and to strive to do better to where they don't need any assistance. So once we get technology and we got a better way to assess where they are, we can actually give them more at the beginning, and then we can wean them off and give them this incentive structure that doesn't say, all right, I can't have overtime this week because I'll make too much money. I can't get that promotion because I'll make too much money. I'll work off the books because all this stuff. So we can use technology to basically incentivize people to get out of the rut they're in. And so I'm really excited about it. This is a huge step in the right direction. The word came out of I'm on the DOJ subcommittee, and we met with a number of people. It's actually been so much fun. DOJ subcommittee was great. So yeah, I mean, that was a step forward, and it passed out of committee unanimously, and it's going to get voted on the floor here soon. And I mean, again, I should have talked to the Treasury Secretary early. This could have gotten done last year. But yeah, that's a big win this past week, and pretty excited about it.
Think it'll get to the Senate?
You know, we can wake up from their nap and take their Jello out. Yeah. No, I do think it'll pass the Senate. Again, it was unanimous. I mean, it just makes sense to use technology to make sure that people that are getting benefits deserve them. And then again, once we do that, we can layer on this additional control to end the benefits cliff and to help people help themselves.
Since you brought up Treasury, Scott Bessent, I mean, I'm a huge fan. I mean,
honestly,
I'm a geeky kind of guy. I mean,
I don't know
tell us
who
a
I like.
little bit about it.
Listen, between the Treasury Secretary,
Doesn't.
I love it. Between Secretary Rubio, the Vice President, Treasury Secretary, we really got an A-team going. I mean, it's incredible, and you know, it shows you what can be done when everybody's rowing in the same direction. And I always use the analogy: if you're not going to row in the same direction, just don't row at all. But whatever you do, don't take your paddle out of the water and start hitting people in the head. And that's what happened in the first Trump administration. And so, you know, now everybody's rowing in the same direction, and they're rowing hard. And it's incredible what these people can do. And again, we are just getting started. We're going to win the midterms, and then we're going to tackle even harder issues next Congress. And I'm just honored to be a part of it.
So which one of those three or the president can you help get to the convention next year?
Well, you know,
and do we call Callie or just call you? Can we give that job to her? And do we need 5,000 people for her location?
I'm pretty confident that the Treasury Secretary is not running for president. I can't speak to the other two, but I'm sure whoever's running for president might be interested in coming to visit. That's assuming we don't amend the Constitution and give the president another term.
We do have the Trump 2028 hats.
There's nothing more triggering for the liberals.
It's great. It is really great. They actually think we're serious. Maybe some people are. I don't really know. Ray has a question.
Yes. I'll be careful when I stand up this time. All right. Roughly a month before the big, beautiful bill was passed, I think it was 6 weeks, but I might be off. The Supreme Court told federal judges, you have no jurisdiction over national matters. Stay in your lane. 1 week before the big, beautiful bill was passed, the Supreme Court, thanks to South Carolina, ruled that Planned Parenthood is not automatically entitled to medical benefits because the quote unquote medical services they provide are too narrow to qualify as true medical care. Big, beautiful bill gets passed, the federal judge slaps an injunction on it. How did that happen when the Supreme Court ruled against this not once, but twice?
Sure. No, I appreciate the question. And honestly, the activist judges are at every turn doing everything they can. And I mean, honestly, the Democrats are out of levers to pull. And the only lever they can pull is to shut the government down, which they've done 3 times now, and to use judges to strategically enjoin or hold or set back. I mean, a federal judge said that we can't build the ballroom that's privately funded. I mean, like what? And, and I think that was because of a dog walker. There's like a dog walker. That was it was the strangest nexus for jurisdiction. So, I mean, activist judges are going to continue to push back, and the Department of Justice is going to do its job and is going to appeal everything. And I mean, that's just the game that we play. It is the worst system except for all the others. I mean, the checks and balances that we have are a core part of our form of government. And if the roles were reversed, I'm sure that we would do the same thing. I was just texting with Ken Cuccinelli, who is leading who led the challenge against the Virginia redistricting, and he used the courts to overturn something the Democrats did. So I mean, it's just the game that we play, and I'm as frustrated as you are when they push back on areas that I like, but it's better than the alternative of not being able to push back on issues that we like.
Well, the good thing is we're at least playing the game now. Before we would just roll over the action judge.
Well, I fully appreciate the system of checks and balances. I just don't understand why we're letting non-players play the game. I mean, it's like if Clemson coach announced so-and-so is going to be our starting quarterback, and some student in USC says, no, I forbid you from letting that player be the quarterback.
I don't think that's the same analogy. He's a federal judge who has jurisdiction, and so that jurisdiction is probably going to get challenged, and his ruling will get challenged by Court of Appeals. But what they did, they probably went to a circuit that they were able to use, that they knew that the outcome would be the same in the appeals court level, so they get an extra 6 or 8 or 10 months. And it was not sufficiently important that the Supreme Court would take emergency jurisdiction. So I mean, it's just a game. It's just the game, and I'm as frustrated with as you are, but luckily we are winning some of these games now.
Deb has a question. If you have one, grab the mic. Next.
It's so nice to finally see and hear you. My name's Debbie Maria. I'm a political refugee from New York City. I'm the one that's been bombarding you on, I think, your personal cell phone with pictures of South Carolina sky geoengineering.
Okay.
Over the last 2 years, I don't know if you really have that, but I'm claiming it. I don't even know that that's probably you have no control over it. But my main question today for you is, where are we on central bank digital currency?
Okay, great question. So one, we had a chemtrails hearing a couple months ago, and it was definitely very interesting. But as for CBDC, the House has repeatedly tried to put language in multiple bills to prohibit any central bank digital currency, and the Senate is playing games, and they're pushing back, asking for a 5 or a 10-year ban, and it needs to be fully banned. I mean, the Treasury Secretary is not going to do it. He said that he's against it, but who knows what's going to happen in the future election. So I am on the Financial Services Committee. I'm on the Digital Assets Subcommittee, and we unanimously agree that central bank digital currency is bad, and that we are going to do everything we can to encode that it is not allowed. But again, the Senate thinks differently, and they want to do a 5 or a 10-year ban, and that's one of the fights we're having right now.
Talking about the big beautiful bill, we'll do one more question. But do you think when will they do another reconciliation?
Yeah, so we decided to do work on a skinny reconciliation. It's like $80 billion, and we did that because the Democrats shut down the government over ICE and CBP funding. The Senate sent us, I'll call it a turd. They sent us a turd of a bill, and it didn't have any funding for CBP and ICE, but that was the only way that they could get it out of the Senate to fund the rest of Homeland Security. So we actually ended up passing that a few weeks ago. CBP and ICE were funded under the one big beautiful bill, but their funding is running out. So we're going to use reconciliation to fund CBP and ICE for 3 years, so we don't have to have this fight again. And it's about $80 billion. We'll see what else is in there. There might be $1 billion for the big beautiful ballroom, but yeah, there's not going to be
the
much,
great big beautiful ballroom.
There's not going to be much other. Much other in there. So the idea is to have reconciliation, do that. There'll be reconciliation 2.0, and the plan is to do a reconciliation 3.0. But I'm surprised we're doing a 2.0, so it's hard to do. We'll see. But as of now, reconciliation 2.0 should come back to the House within the next couple of weeks, and that will be passed, and that will fund CBP and ICE for the next 3 years.
Okay, great. One more question here, and then we'll finish with Scott.
Hi, thank you for
Thank you
for being here.
You gotta go. Yeah.
I grew up in America, and I was a little bit older than you, look, but you read the news and you see what's going on in our world, and you see what's going on in Iran, and how they raised their kids so anti-American. I can get extremely concerned when I see them bringing that stuff into our living rooms, into our world. They're trying to bring anti-America into America, and I, as limited as my education goes, that sounds treasonous. Why is this stuff continuing? I mean, freedom of speech, yes, but where's that line?
So, I mean, this kind of started under Obama, and historically, American exceptionalism was the way that the world viewed us. We had unique natural resources. We were the melting pot. We had all these different cultures. We were protected by vast oceans. We had no real threats nearby, and our system of government created just this incredible petri dish for just success. And the 250 years has just brought this incredible change for the entire human civilization. So now we have this rub between authoritarianism and freedom. And so among all free countries, and among even the not free countries, America is still this shining light in the world, and everybody wants to come here. Everybody wants to be here. We are still the best place in the world. And so you see these authoritarian governments, and the only way that they can control their people is through this America bad. And so Iran, they have used religious zealots, they've used fanaticism as a way to subjugate their people. And I'd say still the majority, or close to the majority, of the people in Iran want freedom. They want the life that we have here. They want protection. They want clean water. They want sewer. They want what we have. But the authoritarian governments have to make us the boogeyman, because when these people have the information, when they know what it's like to live here, they're like, we should be like that. And so it's interesting, getting back to digital assets and technology. I actually think that technology is going to end authoritarianism, because digital assets, cryptocurrency, you know how when you go in the airport, they say you have to declare more than $10,000. With a digital wallet, you can literally move all billions of dollars digitally, and you can go wherever you want. So capital controls is one tool that authoritarian governments use for their people. That's India, that's Iran, that's Russia, that's China. You can't lead with money. I mean, you just can't. So capital controls is one. The other thing is Starlink. I mean, information control is huge. So I was actually in Egypt, in Cairo, when the Arab Spring began, and the first thing they did was cut the internet off because they want to control the flow of information. So if we have Starlink and everybody all over the world has access to the internet and can figure out right from wrong, those are the two things that are going to end authoritarian governments, when they can't control their people's information flow, when they can't control their people's wallets. So I think that you're going to see an end to authoritarian governments because they can't control their population. So that was a really long answer to a simple question. But I mean, the simplest version is that the freedoms that we enjoy here, while they're always under attack and we got to defend them, the rest of the world is way worse. And so we have to defend our own way of life. And as technology makes it harder for these other governments to tell lies about the beautiful thing that is the American dream, you're going to see more and more countries have to reform how they interact with the global community. That's a really long answer, but you get my point.
Cal is yelling at us because you guys got to get. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any final words?
No, hey, one, I just want to say thank you all for everything that you do to keep the American dream alive. I mean, I'm sure many of us went to North Carolina, went to Georgia, traveled all over the country, and we have made such incredible strides just in the last few years. I mean, back to your question about life, I was on the Judiciary Committee at the State Senate 10 years ago, and Roe v. Wade was still the law of the land, and we were talking about passing a state law to overturn Roe v. Wade, and here we are. And I mean, life is being protected like it has never been in my lifetime. Sure. And so that did not just happen overnight; it happened over decades. And I mean, the pace of change that we're seeing right now is incredible, but it's because of activists. It's because we're not going to stand by for something we think is wrong, and it's because we're going to stand up for what we think is right. And you know, it starts at the local level. It starts at the grassroots, and we are strong here in the upstate. We have the strongest conservative base in South Carolina, and we are going to continue that. And, thank you to everyone that moved here. Just remember why you moved here. Remember why you left. Yeah, remember why you moved here, and make sure that we continue to protect what we have. So it's an honor to represent the 4th Congressional District, wherever it may be, in Congress. And I look forward to the election day, whenever it may be. And yeah, you know, it's going to be interesting times, but just remember that we've gotten through so much. We survived 4 years of whoever was running the country when Joe Biden was in the White House, and we have fixed most of the problems he created, and we're just getting started. So I'm a big fan of the phrase, "The winning is just beginning."
Fantastic. Thank you. Very good. Thanks, sir. All right.
Great day. See you.
Thank you. It's 1:15, so we're over time. Anybody got any comments? Any follow-up? Did you
I guess.
got your question answered?
If I understood him correctly, he was saying that technology will prevent authoritarianism.
No.
To me,
We'll bring it down over time. That's what he's saying.
when Trump shouted out Larry Ellison 3 days into his presidency, Larry Ellison said AI surveillance will make us all be on our best behavior. So I'm a little leery about technology, AI surveillance, the ability for them to shut off our bank accounts, right? With technology, I don't know.
There's pros and cons. I mean, but anything else before we go? Or
I would like to address that.
Good, Emerson. You're off your Zoom call?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Governments have been surveilling, suppressing, and oppressing their citizens for as long as we've been documenting history. Before AI, it was wiretapping And for the age of the internet, they have access to information that they could just see what you posted. Just because AI is a thing doesn't mean that surveillance and suppression is going to get any better or any worse. But with the democratization of information, the way he was talking about with Starlink, if you can no longer control what information people have access to, the people can be more informed. And when people can communicate freely, they can organize freely. And authoritarian governments lose one thing that they have over us, which is that they're organized, that they're structured, and that they are all rowing in one direction. That was the point that he was trying to make. AI is an issue, but is an issue that we have been dealing with for centuries, and we will continue dealing with it for centuries after this.
Freedom is a constant fight. So yes, there's positives that will come with it, but we got to continue to fight it. Good point, Emerson. Thanks. Yes.
Just want to do a shout out for Monday. That's going to be our educational outreach. Carrie's going to talk, so I'll let her say something.
We'll give Ron give. That's a better mic for her.
I need a better mic.
It's wired. We like wired.
I hate that I haven't been around here more. I hate I missed most of this today. But Monday, Denny's, 5:30 to eat, 6:30 for the talk. I spent 2 depressing months preparing it, so come prepared to be really depressed on our topic, euthanasia and assisted suicide. Does anybody know the difference between euthanasia and assisted suicide?
Give us a hint.
You have to come
Speak
Monday
loud so they can hear you. But there's a difference between euthanasia and assisted suicide.
There is a difference, yes.
All right, that's a teaser.
So,
that's what we call in the biz, a teaser.
But I'm planning to go to Walmart now and get chocolate because you need some comforting chocolate to eat. And if I can find teddy bears, I'll buy some teddy bears. So you have your option. You can have a teddy bear or a piece of chocolate to eat during the talk.
So that's Monday at 6:30 at Denny's. Come early at 5:30 so you can eat, enjoy, socialize, and then the presentation will start at 6:30. It's fantastic. Ron?
On your way out, I left the list in the office over there to sign up for the Constitution class. So if you're going to come, there's a good chance to sign up so we know how much food to have.
Okay, and before you leave, Ron, I want to update on the project we gave you yesterday. If you have an update. Yes.
Real quick update on Patriots Promise. So most of y'all have heard about Patriots Promise. It's our effort to try to push the voters into the polls, and we're running a little bit of a snag. We don't have any stickers yet that we can promote it with, but we're getting closer. And just want to keep that in your mind.
But just print, that's why we got the lit drops. Now we're doing everything to get people informed about the election. June 9th, obviously early voting, but focus people on June 9th and let's get as many people out. We got people hitting precincts all over the place, just doing the lit drop. You're nervous about talking to people, knocking on the door. At least takes the documents, the newspaper or the reminder flyer, and just the Patriots Pledge, get people out, promise, and get people out. I don't know. I think initially we talked Patriots Pledge, and then they gave the promise. And I'm still stuck in the old days. But get communicate and know your neighbors. So Ron, last statement, and then we'll do a motion.
I got loaded down with a lot of newspapers to get out, and everybody needs to come and get their own stack and put it where you can. But I'm taking around to the nursing homes. But you can't do it with so many meetings. You got to be on the road. You got to be out doing that and skip a meeting or two and get out and do the work.
Yeah.
I have a meeting tonight and I'm taking my newspapers with me.
Think about if you know people that, barbershops, things like that, what can we do to kind of get those newspapers out to more locations? We can get those distributed, what we got, 10,000. Then we can go to 20,000 or 15,000 and then 20,000. I mean, Rom Reddy is sending out 115,000 of those newspapers that he's mailing them to people. So Austin's already got it. So apparently they're coming this week. You heard what he was saying. There's 400,000 people voting. He's probably looking at, hey, how do I get into the runoff? I need 25% of that, or 30%. Send it out to 115,000. We're doing the same thing here in Greenville. We need more people to turn out. The more people that turn out, the better. So, what was your motion? All in favor? All right, we're out. Thank you all very much. Thank you for what you're doing, and talk to your neighbors June 9th. Thank you, sir.
information about Rom Reddy on Saturday going to be on our website?
It's on his site. Go to his site and look under events, and you can sign up for it.
Ready for the social for a language.